I've been working in developing custom software for scientific instruments for several decades. And I observed during that time that every time you start a new software package for another instrument, you end up rewriting the same basic functionality. So you always have file writing and alarming and error handling and all these things that are common to almost any of these very customized programs. And what I wanted to do at that point was to create a framework in LabVIEW that had all this common functionality so that I could reuse that code really easily in a highly configurable way to help accelerate the development of this type of software program. In particular, it was originally for scientific instrumentation. I'm David Thomson. Along with Ted Anderson, we have a company called Original Code Consulting. We do LabVIEW development for a wide range of clients. Our niche is kind of research and development, but we also work in a lot of manufacturing and production environments. So there are several key advantages to using MICAS-X. I think one of the biggest is the accelerated development, because so much common functionality has already been written and already been tested. You can get going on a new customized software solution very quickly. Another point is that all that existing functionality and code has been deployed many times before for many other customers, so it's been debugged. It's very robust. You don't have to spend a lot of time debugging that, what may be 50 to 80 to 90% of your code. Another key advantage, and this is specifically more likely to be an advantage in the R&D space, where the situation, the experiment's changing a lot, the instrument's being developed, it's evolving, but MICAS is very highly configurable. So the customer, the client, the end user can change how MICAS acts by going into the configuration editor, adding new channels, adding new features, adding new triggers and alarms, whatever, without having to come back to us for custom programming. So the highly configurable nature is also really powerful. We've used MICAS-X in a number of different situations. One of our favorite is, as I said, custom scientific instruments. It brings a huge base that accelerates the development, but then there's always some big element that's specific to that instrument that we do custom development for to make MICAS work for those situations. It's also very good at bringing together a wider range of data from various instruments or sensors. So an example of that would be a mobile lab where you might have half a dozen gas analyzers, commercial instruments. You could have a GPS on the mobile lab. You could have a weather station with winds and whatnot. And MICAS it's really easy to configure to bring all these different data sources in to a central unit for display and archiving. We've also used it, as I said, in industrial process control. So by their nature, they just fit really well with MICAS, and so we do product testing and process control in commercial and industrial settings. And our favorite example for where we've used MICAS is in the University of Colorado in chemistry department. Professor Jimenez has 2 environmental chambers that they've built, very sophisticated chambers to do gas and aerosol chemistry experiments in. And MICAS-X is running the control system for both those chambers. So it's controlling the airflow into the chambers, the temperature, the lights, the humidity. It's measuring things from dozens of other instruments for chemical composition and gas chemistry, from dozens of sensors for pressures, temperatures, humidity, all that kind of thing, and simultaneously controlling the experiments that are going on in these 2 chambers which can be very asynchronous. One chamber, each chamber is running its own experiment independent of the other, and yet they share a lot of resources. And MICAS-X is sequencing those experiments and controlling the whole thing. MICAS-X is really able to accelerate development of a new system. So we have a lot of customers who need something in a very short term, and we're able to deploy it and get them a very sophisticated and yet customized solution much more quickly than if we had to build custom software from the ground up.